Well, hey, what's the crack? Can you hear us all right? Everything all right there? Sorry to keep you waiting a few. We're actually early for once, which makes for a good change. Steve-O, you know what I mean? Maybe we're
Hey,
turning
hey,
in a
hey.
Lulu. How
That's
are you?
it. I'm all right, mate. I'm all right. 1 minute early. Look at
1
that.
minute, Jesus. 1 minute early and getting miniatures painted. What has the world come to? It's only taken like a plague of global proportions to motivate us to get stuff done. But we're here. We're getting it done. What's the crack with the rest of you? It's quite a few heads. We've Orc Stuff, Brax here, Squig Boss, Mad Knobs, Gary Hauser, Rock Lobster, Essex Boys, The Hobby Git, Rivets and Daka. What's the story, lads? What's the crack? What's happening? How are you all keeping? Hope you are all keeping well and healthy. And you are all painting through that pile of shame. I know you all have one. I know I have one.
Mm,
How's that pile of shame looking for you, Steve-O?
it's increased because I got my Norzilla from Cromlech arrived yesterday. So yeah, I have something else grey to add to the grey pile. But yeah, still working on this last squad. Still getting close. It's a pretty much now, mate, a neck and neck race between me and you.
Me and you.
Be a photo finish between which of us, finishes. We're pretty much even, aren't we, on the amount of miniatures to finish?
Getting there. We're getting there. We've been putting base coats on stuff lately. I've actually got the rest of the month off. I took some time off of work, so I'm not gonna jinx myself and say I'll get it done, but I'm aiming to get the last of this 1,500 points done by the end of this week, hopefully. So I've been putting base coats on me Weird Boy. I've started putting base coats on. I've got some base coats on the Gretchen. I'm just trying to block, you know what I mean? I'm trying to get the solid blocks done. Working on the Snicker as well. Just putting base coats on. And at this moment in time, I'm cracking away on the old Commando. So it's just trying to block out and black out the colours. I still haven't decided on the camo colours I want to do. You can see there's a fleck there that I missed. So I've been busy painting black and trying to get base colours done. I want to do these in like there's like a German camo. I have like a whole Vallejo paint set, but I want to do them up. There's a specific, I think it's like Spot camo or something like that is the name of it. But there's a specific German camo that I want to try and do up me commandos up in. I think they'll look swank in some proper camo. You know what I mean?
There's no use asking me, mate, because I'll be telling you to do them in like yellow and gold camo.
Sprinkle a bit of glitter on them, you know?
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, blinging them up.
This is the stage I'm at. I don't have many of the buggers left, but yeah, I think I'll be doing this squad up in like sort of German camo. That's the idea anyway.
Cool.
Yeah, P-Dot camo or oak leaf. Sci-fi's here. Yeah, I'm thinking P-Dot camo or oak leaf camo. One of the two of them. I just need to find the pattern and the colours. Now I bought a whole case of colours. I don't know which one is those specific ones, but I plan on doing their trousers, their top, their backpack, all in the camo, and then doing the rest of them up like I do the rest of my army, so they're still sort of tied in together. But I want the camo on the commandos to look, you know, top dollar. They have to be the swankiest of them. You know what I mean? Yes, so that's what I.
Yeah, they're your real elite unit.
Yeah,
aren't
they are. They're like the elite of the elite in my army. So like they'd have the best camo going and the best gear. You know what I mean? We've a few more heads who popped in. Mostly Zen, Roxy, Sci-Fi. What's the crack? Brax here. What are you working on, Steve? What are you painting as of now?
A bit of a pattern emerging here, mate, but tank busters. Just for a change. Tank busters. But yeah, they're getting there. They are getting there. From your thumbnail, my shooter boys. I pretty much, as soon as I got the shooter boys done, no sooner had I got the varnish on them and packed them away than the tank busters came out. I'm like, right, come on, keep this momentum going. You are so close.
You do that as well, do you? Do you paint a unit and then chuck it away in the box and don't look at it then and just keep going?
Yeah, and then it's not seen, and it's on. Do you know? I was sitting in bed yesterday and I was watching YouTube, like on the telly. I was watching, I don't know, something completely different about movies or something. I was watching a John Carpenter documentary. Actually, it was very good. I watched that, and then it just automatically after the playlist, one of my videos came up, and I ended up sitting there watching it, and I was like, "Oh, they look pretty good, don't they?" And it was me Met guns, because I haven't seen them for months.
Oh, you forgot? Like, yeah.
Yeah, and they're on the screen, on the big screen on the telly, and I was like, "Yeah, fair play. They look pretty good then." So yeah, it's going to be a bit of a surprise to me when I get the whole lot out again and put them all together, and do the showcase on them and see them all together. I think I took one photo when I'd finished my Death Dreads and put them with my Killer Cans and everything, and seeing all them together was nice. I was like, oh, a dread mob. I've got a dread mob, what I've always dreamed of. So yeah, it's going to be good when I see them all together. I always get, what I do though when I am painting, I always get one miniature similar to what I'm doing that I've already done as a reference point, so I can make sure it's consistent.
Yeah, visually so they're all tied together. No, I get what you mean. Yeah, because I've been to so many boys, mate. There's so many boys. Like some of them are just standard green. I haven't even done camos on them. You know what I mean? They're just like olive drab, which looks all right for like blood axes. I can get away with it for now, but like, Jesus, man, I forgot how many of them I've painted, and then it's like digging them out and having a look at what's actually painted and realizing it's like, yeah, there's a fair few there. And then the points increase as well, so that the point increase.
That's helped us. That has helped us.
Yeah, we're closer to 2,000.
Do you know what? It's probably why it's a good job those points increases happened while I was painting, because I probably would have been more pissed off about it. But I was like, sweet, that might actually help me out a bit. But not really, because anything I dropped from my army is stuff that I've already painted. So I'm like, I've still got to paint.
I'm a bit like that myself. It's like, I think there's like 20 looters I've painted up that I dropped.
Yeah.
Like I think it was 10 that was in the list for the 1,500 that I had to drop. That are painted.
I mean, that's worked out good for us, isn't it? Because then not only have we finished our army, but we are well on the way to the next milestone.
The 2,000 points. Yeah, that's it, man. We're closer to that. Like, I can't remember, Stevo. Could you jog my memory? I could have sworn I heard someone saying that they wanted to get 2,000 points painted up, but I can't quite remember. You'll have to jog my memory on that one.
It feels like someone we haven't seen for a long time.
Someone who hasn't done hobby in a fair bit,
The past,
I don't know. No, name's lost. I've no idea. Heresy Productions here. What's the crack, bud? What's the story? Slevs here. Sledden. Quite a few. Schlev. We'll just stick with Schlev. Yeah, Schlev. But yeah, commandos. Commandos are the order of the day. I have had these commandos since this set came out. I know I have. So that's how long these miniatures have sat here unpainted. And it's the same with the Weird Boy. I think I got these Spearhead box sets. So this Weird Boy has been unpainted since, this miniature came out. I've been sitting on this army for a long time. The metal Snikrot is the same. As soon as Snikrot came out, I bought him when he was new. You know what I mean? It's the realization. It's like, it's been like 12 years or 10 years or whatever. Like, you know what I mean?
I am pleased to hear that you are doing Commandos and Snikrot. You got that strong.
You can't have Commandos in the army and not have Snikrot. He's the Blood Axe HQ. It's like, it has to happen. I like the model.
He's one of the coolest looking character miniatures in the army. He is an awesome looking. I've always had a soft spot for Snikrot. Very cool looking miniature for sure.
He's the nuts. I just haven't decided what way I want to paint him up yet. But I'm thinking of doing like camos, swanky camos. And since I have all these historical sort of World War II era vehicle crew colors and camo colors and stuff, I decided, sure, I'll give them a bash. You know what I mean? Be a bit of a laugh. That, and I'm terrible at coming up at camo schemes myself. Roxy is saying Sneaker is our all-time favourite. Hobby Gate is saying, last time I put paints on Grots, you could still buy foundation paint. Jesus. That's going back. It's going back a few years there, Dim.
The ones he has painted pretty hard on with foundation paint.
I think he was. I think that's what happened to him. With his painting recipes, he used foundation paint. So when they stopped doing them, he stopped painting his Grots.
Best paints GW ever did.
Foundation paints, definitely. Yeah,
I loved them. Loved them.
They were great crack. I used to paint my orcs with that skin. I think actually I might have an old orc here. I think this kit is painted in foundation paints.
I swear, with like foundations, you could get like a black primed miniature and just get the whitest of whites and go one coat.
Yeah.
Probably exaggerating it a bit, but they're bloody good.
The coverage was good. I mean, it kills your brushes because the pigments were thicker. Like there was it was heavy pigment, but it was good. Like it did what you wanted it to. You know.
No really fucking about with them. Straight on, strong, vibrant color, just awesome paints.
Boosh sword. But yeah, I think that's the problem that you're gonna run into with Games Workshop paints, and part of the reason why I've started to drift away from them is their paint palette historically has changed and mixed up quite a bit. Whereas if you're going to go to third party, or you're just going to go to paint suppliers whose job it is to do paints like Model Color, Vallejo, or you're the army painter, you know what I mean? They're not going to change the line on you. So longevity wise, you're going to get more consistency out of those guys. You know what I mean? Whereas with Games Workshop, you don't know. Like I'm pretty sure we talked about this not too long ago. Sure, I was a can of Averland Sunset, like, and I'm sure they still do the color, but it's a slightly different tone to what's in the can. But they don't sell spray cans of this anymore. It's the same with a lot of different bits and pieces over the years. You might pick a color, and then you don't want that to be the main color for your army, and 10 years down the line, they don't do it anymore,
Yeah, especially when you're slow as fuck like us, because that project we started 10 years ago, you might want to finish 10 years later and then go, oh shit.
And this is it, yeah.
And it's all very good saying, well, they've got this color and it's similar. No, I need it to be exactly the fucking same. It can't be off slightly. I need consistency.
It depends on the armies, but some of them, like yellows, you might get away with it with the orcs, but even still, you want some form of consistency across the line.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Would bug the hell out of me. I'd be like, I'll be looking and it looks slightly different. That's bugging the fuck out of me.
Like Imperial Fists, the old yellows, the Canary Marines. You can really tell on like the likes of that where it's a yellow or a very very noticeable color. You can tell like if someone's used a different yellow on their units. The way one unit's done up and then another. It really shows in some colors. Other colors you can get away with it, and it also depends on the aesthetic of your army that you're doing as well. So you might have a mix of colors. But on orcs, I think I find the uniform color across the army for us is the skin. Paint up the skin. But then some people do different ones. So like with the knobs and stuff, I do a darker tone, and then so there's like the 3 base colors. So the knob's darker than the boy, and the boy's a darker tone than the Gretchen. You can't really tell that well here.
Someone commented on one of my videos the other day saying that they like all the skin across their boys to be slightly varying and different. And
you can do that as well. Like there's no
some people like that.
Way.
It's not my style. It wouldn't sit well with me. But yeah, some people I guess paint changing and that wouldn't bother some people that much. To be fair enough. I'll just have something similar.
True. It depends. It's like if you're going for that mixed match across the
army. Fuck out of me though.
Well, go for it though. You know what I mean? You have a lot of freedom with orcs. You can paint them blue, pink, red, whatever you want. Mostly was saying I'm slowly moving to other paints as I replace things. Army Painter Rough Iron is my favourite for orcs. But I've heard amazing things about Army Painter Rough Iron. I don't have it myself.
No, I don't have that one yet. I likewise though have heard good things.
I've heard amazing things about Army Painter Rough Iron.
Give that one a whirl. I mean, I've got a whole fuckload of army painters here that I was just saying to you before we went on the stream, because I'm thinking about how I want to paint my squig off, and I was saying, all right, I'm going to try different greens, different shades and stuff, and I've got jungle green, army green, wizard's orb, necrotic flesh, angel green. I've got all different shades of green here that, so I've never touched. So it's going to be a good excuse for me to try out some different colours and
different shades of green. I've no idea what you're talking about. Like I've 5 within reach just for skin tones. Like
I've got another one here, scaly hide as well. Actually, that looks good. I'm going to keep that out. That's got a good look to it. So,
Roxy says she's not doing great with the consistency across her army. 5-header was saying having slightly different colour skin tones makes sense. It does. And you could even do something like what they do in Lord of the Rings, where some of them are sort of like pale browns and sort of tan colour and greens. You know what I mean? They're a motley sort of crew, the orcs that they have in Lord of the Rings. They're not just like one consistent colour across the board. It is a bit more mishmash.
I've even got Death Guard green here, one of my few Citadel paints that I've got.
Sure, I have Death Guard green knocking around. Do I have that? I use that Old Forest.
The only Citadel paints I've got currently are ones that I got with the Conquest magazine when I was getting a few issues of that for a little while.
Yeah, I dabbled in that myself, but I didn't stick with it. I think I went halfway through the subscription, and Muggins here bought a premium one, so it was like, Jesus. Poke's in the house. What's the crack, Poke? William Combs. What's the story, Bud? Rocklops is saying is Orc Boys from 2003 look a bit different. Ah, yes, 2003. Back in the Dark Angels green days. It's funny how like painting techniques have come along as well. And then liquid talent in a bottle has helped massively. Just the aesthetics of orcs, how they've changed. The sculpts are starting to change, the shift in how they look. The small head syndrome that we're starting to get now, the roid rages. Have you crippled your legs again by sitting arseways?
A little bit, yeah. I'm just readjusting. I'm just doing wonders for my posture here.
I'm sure.
I'd sort of sit perched on my chair like a goblin.
Lording it over your minions. It's like, yeah.
Yeah, I'm going over the gold colours on all of them at the moment. So I'm going through them one by one, touching up the gold on them. And I got one there that he didn't have any gold on him. So I'm like, oh, sweet. But
he missed them.
He just happens to not have any gold on that one.
Oh, all right. There's no gold on the miniature.
In the done pile quite satisfyingly. And so I was looking over the ones that I've still got to do. And I'm like, damn, no, they've all got gold on them. Damn it. It's like when you write yourself a list of things to do and you start the list off with a couple of jobs you've already done just so you have the pleasure of ticking them off. Productive,
I haven't done that, but I'll save that for future reference for motivating yourself.
It's a great feeling. Just the job you've just done before you write your list, just go, write that on there, tick, you go. So I'm already partway through my list.
You're doing it in no time. In no time. Speaking of being done in no time, we're getting through the last dregs of the armies. What do you reckon? Do you reckon Dim and like who are the other two? Do you reckon Dim or Dread will be in last place? I have a feeling Dread might be like have locked himself away into a basement and he's painting furiously as we're doing these hobby hangouts.
I bloody hope so for his sake.
And he's gonna be playing catch up like there's no tomorrow.
I do remember early on him the one giving it out. We may even have to look back and find some clips on old videos of him giving it all the spiel and make a little montage. Because I remember him giving it large about how he was going to smash through them. He had boys.
What his airbrush?
I've got an airbrush. I'll fly past you. You're doing your brush techniques and.
I love the stick he's always giving you about your base coat. And he's like, no, Steve-o. Just send it to the highlight and you need an airbrush, mate. You're doing it all wrong. I'm loving it. You'll get it done so much quicker. and you're just powering through it, man. I love it. I absolutely love that. That hasn't been lost on me. The irony of it.
He's probably right to a certain degree, but I think the no matter what your technique is, the best technique is just to grind, just to keep going, and just keep. Come on, slapping yourself a bit. Come on. I know it'd be easy to sit down and watch a bit of telly now. It'd be easier to sit down and play some Xbox or something, but no, come on.
Just get it done.
Get that brush, start going. And you know what? The best thing about a brush and a wet palette is I don't need to fucking fuck ass about setting anything up. I sit down at my desk, dip my brush in some water, stick some paint on there, and I'm off. And that's what I like about it. It's the prep work. Yeah, once you're going, obviously it's quicker, but simple techniques and stuff, just having it there set up, I think that's great, where you don't need any prep time. Just grab your model and start painting.
I think that's, I think you're hitting the nail on the head there when it comes to actually getting hobby done. You don't want to be spending your time unpacking your stuff and pulling it out. You know what I mean? Because when you're not motivated,
real demotivator for me. I'd be like, I can't even bother to set it all up.
It's the effort. It's the effort of having to pull all the stuff out. Whereas if you have a little desk, or even if you had like a little tray, you can
look
get
at the state of my brushes, man. I fucked my brushes up. I was just saying before on the stream, I've got to buy some more brushes because I've been painting. I'm actually starting to work through them, and I don't look after my brushes at all. So what the fuck would I do to an airbrush, man? That shit would be clogged up because I wouldn't be cleaning that bastard out. I tell you, it would be fucked.
Got to use it one day and it would just implode.
Yeah, it'd just be clogged up with so much shit. No, it just I couldn't be hassled fucking cleaning it all out and fuck arsing about a bit.
But I have one here. I have one beside me, and I have like the extraction built and stuff. But I don't have me set up so that it's easy to use. You know what I mean? Like I have to go out my way to set it up and all that, and that's just effort. Whereas I have paintbrushes, I have me water well, I have me paints, and I even put up little shelves on my desk that are like I think they're on Amazon. They were like nail varnish bottle holders. They're literally just like clear acrylic U-bends that you screw onto stuff. And having the paints just in front of me, you know what I mean? It's easier. It's just within hand's reach, but it's also keeping it tidy and out of the way, so it's not in the way all the time. You know what I mean?
Yeah, the tidy bit I'm not so hot on at the moment. My mouse mat is very unusable after time because it's got paints and shit all over it, and my keyboard's pushed right back. It's usually got stuff on top of it. And yeah, the models kind of just take over. The computer's buried under models and paints somewhere. And I'm like, I've just tried. I just use it like it is and just move stuff out of the way and hit some keys and be like, well.
Don't be under any illusion of it being tidy here. I literally have to fucking back in a hand. Stuff needs to be moved out of the way to make room for painting, and I could be bleeding anything. God knows, like. Gary Hauser saying, I keep a small compressor shoved in the closet and plug it in with single action for. Gary, look, I'm not joking when I say it's by me left foot. It's literally like a self-contained unit. I'm just too bleeding lazy to set up the rest of it. Like, it's just, there's no excuse. It's just handier for me and easier to just pick up a paintbrush and just get cracking. And the paintbrushes I'm using, I think I bought in like an art and hobby store on the super cheap. Like, these are here to be used and abused on base coat. These aren't swank brushes. They're just get the job done. Get these lads primed black and crack on, man. Stop making excuses for myself and just with time off now. I'll try and get these done by the end of the week, hopefully. But crack on, get them done. I think we'll do a bit of blacking out on the old Big Mac as well. Going back and I'm blacking some of this stuff out. I haven't fully decided what way I want to paint him, but that's going to need to be redone. I've redone the skin on him. New base coat. Clearly I wanted his pants grey at some point, so I'll do some sort of grey camo or something like that to tie him in. Have any old bash. Roxy says she never uses nice brushes. Well, this is it. Like, some professional painters swear by using like high-end Kolinsky sable brushes. Other ones use just cheap ass brushes that they beat the hell out of until they're dead, and then they get put into their like abused paintbrush pile. Like this tank brush I have years, and I use this for dust and stuff. Like look at the bleeding head on that. Like that's there's seeing better days, and then there's this.
I'll tell you what I do as well is I nick my missus. I nick out a bit makeup brushes. Oh my God, man, makeup brushes. I saw this on someone's video. Don't know whose it was. And they're amazing for like dry brushing certain sort of things. They're brilliant. They're like real soft and they hold loads of paint. And they're dirt cheap as well. You can go into like pound shops and stuff and get like makeup brushes and that. And she got a whole set of these ones. And I was like, can I just swipe one of them? And she was like, no. I was like, you got like 20 of them. Come on, let me have one of them. And yeah, fucking brilliant, man. Real good, like for dry brushing.
This plan might backfire though, mate. You know what I mean? She might be looking at one of your brushes there one of the days and go, that'd be great for doing eyeliner there, Steve. You know what I mean?
You never know. You never know. She's already got a, for her glue for the eyelashes, she's got a mixer. And it just, you stick the thing on the end, it goes and fucking shake. And I was like, oh, that'd be good for me paints.
Yeah.
And it was quite cheap as well, a lot cheaper than like an actual paint mixer.
It's because it wasn't branded for the hobby. That's another thing. If you find anything that's not hobby branded, always cheaper. Always cheaper.
So yeah, it's quite good. A lot of tools and stuff for her trade. I look in, I'm like, oh, that could be good for my models.
Orc stuff is saying use knackered brushes for matte varnish or dusters. If they're big enough, use them to dust your miniatures. Give them the once over.
Don't go in for the posh brushes and the soaps and all that bloody stuff. I mean, I wouldn't even know what to fucking do. I'd swish it around in the water and it just, come back the next day and it looks fucked. All right, grab the next one out of the pot.
Carry on.
Cheap. There are some that I like more than others that I've tried to take care of. I've got some of this one I'm using right now is an army painter one, but it's one of their like cheaper ones, like a freebie one. It's like a Citadel brush, but I like their sort of triangular handled ones.
They're pretty good. I had a few of them that I beat the absolute bejesus out of. These
it's insane detail one actually. That is not insane detail anymore. I can tell you that just looks like a fucking hairdo on that.
Oh, it depends, man. Some of them are good, and some of them, like, I've a mixed bag over here. It's like some of the older GW ones. I used to have some of the blue ones left. Like I've some of these. This one's battered. I think this one gets used for like glue or whatever. And yeah, these ones are pretty good. I do like the Wargaming Monster ones. These guys got beaten up. Base counting the boys. Mobs, 30 boys. They'll kill your brush, alright. Yeah, definitely.
This brush I'm using now will be fucked because I'm using metallics. As soon as I use metallics, they'll be fucked. I think the army painter metallics they got big old pigments and that in them, and they just fuck the brushes.
Oh yeah, metallics will definitely do that. Yeah, definitely. There's some of them you just don't want to do. You don't want to be putting any of the varnishes in any of your good brushes.
No.
Definitely not. That will rain on your parade for sure. You won't be a happy camper then. But yeah, don't chuck out all brushes that have gone past their service. You can use them for dry brushes, you could use them for glue, all that type of stuff. They'll come in handy. Worst case scenario, you use them to dust down miniatures that have been sitting on your desk for too long. That's what I tend to do with some of them as well.
Do you know what I use for glue when I'm applying glue? I use cocktail sticks.
Cocktail sticks. Now, are you talking about like super glue, plastic glue, or like PVA glue, or?
Well, usually like the PVA glue for the bases and that. I just blob the PVA glue on the base and I sort of spread it around with a cocktail stick. Use that to get the glue on.
Oh, right.
Just have a little pot of them on hand. They're always quite handy. They're handy for like picking out if you see like you got like a little hair or a little bit of some grit or something in between, like a little crevice in your miniature, whatever you should go out. Use them just to pick bits out, and they're just a handy little tool to have. Cocktail sticks.
Oh yeah, definitely. And then the earbuds, the cotton buds, these are pretty good as well. especially if you're doing washes and stuff like that. I think the Yanks call them Q-tips.
Mm.
Yeah, definitely. I use cocktail sticks for PVA glue too. I use brushes for PVA because I tend to water down the PVA. That's how I get all the sand done on this.
Oh mate, I use stuff that's supposed to be watered down. Where is it? The PVA glue I use is heavy duty shit. Unibond Super PVA, and this stuff's supposed to be diluted. Dilutes 5-to-1. 1 part of this, 5 parts water you're supposed to use, and then it makes it like normal PVA consistency. So it's proper strong shit. But I don't fuck about with PVA.
Stevo's just straight out of the bottle.
Yeah, big time, straight out of the bottle. But it's it's a 1 litre tub. It wasn't cheap, but it's probably going to last me like for my entire hobby life.
You reckon?
I'm about halfway through it. Actually, I haven't said that, but
well, if you're using the concentrated stuff straight out of the bottle, of course you're going to blast through it.
But it's good shit, man. Dries quick as well.
Do you seal yours in again? Like what method do you use for your basing? Like, because what I tend to do is I do like a 50-50 mix of PVA and water on the base. I like it like thicker initially, and then I put the sand on. After that, I'll come back and I'll water down. Usually really watery.
Do like a sort of a varnish over the top of it to hold it all in.
With PVA, yeah, seal it back in. Like I let the first layer dry. Normally I do it if I'm doing like 20 guys or 30 guys. I'll literally start at the unit and I'll glue it down. If I'm doing gravel, little bits of gravel like this guy here. If I'm doing little bits of gravel or stuff like that, I'll glue down with super glue first. Then I'll come in, hit the rest of the base with PVA. Let that set. That's me, the thicker glue, and then I'll do really water down PVA and seal it, because otherwise, as you're handling them, because they are plain pieces, the sand, if you don't come in with that second layer on top, the sand lifts off of them.
Yeah, I don't do that with mine. I use the neat fucking super strong PVA, which is, like I say, it's fucking strong shit. Dip it in the sand, and then once it has dried, before I paint it, I get like a fairly stiff brush, like an old knackered brush, and I give it like real hard brush over to make sure any loose bits come off.
Mm-hmm.
So I sort of brush over like that, and then when I'm actually painting the base itself, I fucking just slop on fuckloads of base paint for the base paint, so that kind of itself acts as the seal.
Yeah,
when it gets sprayed over with the coat, my black primer first, and then when I do the brown base, it goes on neat, just slopped all over there, so it kind of acts as a seal itself, and then gets all sprayed varnished once I've done as well. So
this is the thing, I haven't really spray varnished anything, but I really need to. Those grots, that unit of grots really need a good spray varnish. I suppose that's the last bit I need to do to my miniatures once they're spray varnished.
The one you want, man. Anti-shine Army Painter anti-shine matte varnish. I fucking love this stuff.
Swear by it, yeah.
Oh, I do. I really do swear by it. Awesome stuff.
I think that's the problem you have with matte varnish, is you need to get a good brand. Because if you get a bad batch of matte varnish on a fully painted miniature, like, it'll break your bleeding heart, like. You know what I mean?
Yeah, there's things I go cheap on, like the primer. I get that from Poundland. 1 pound cans of primer and fucking awesome stuff. It's car primer. And it works just as well.
No idea what you're talking about. None whatsoever.
It is just such good shit. And you can spray away happily because, and I go in there and I buy like 5 cans of it at a time. And I spent a £5 and I've got 5 cans of it, and I could spend 3 times that amount and have 1 can of GW primer.
Yeah.
And it's, if anything, I'd say this is better. I think it's nuts when I see people buying branded primers. Absolutely nuts.
For a tenner or whatever else the rest of it.
Because you really are, you're not getting any better quality at all from any of the brands in terms of primers. Don't matter what brand you're buying, just get the cheap shit.
Have you tried any of the Army Painter color primers, and it's supposed to like color match? Have you tried that?
Yeah, I've got one. I've got the yellow that I use for my orcs. I've got that the desert yellow that I use for my orcs. I've got that in a primer. I tested it. I haven't used it properly. I've just tested it on one small bit. It's very close, but it's not exactly the same. Yeah, it's not exactly. I sprayed a miniature with it and then painted over like the other bit and sort of held it under the light, and you can it's bloody close, but it's not exact, I would say. But yeah, it's and the trouble is I've got it, but the way I paint all my miniatures, they all get dry brushed metallic. That's the first thing I do over the entire miniature. So I spray them black, and then I dry brush like the metal color over the entire thing, and then start painting over that.
It's no point in spraying the base yellow down for you.
No, and then if I was to spray a base yellow, and it to me it's just working backwards. It'd throw me off. I'd be like, right, how the fuck do I? Because when I do my metallics, I just do them nice and messy, dry brush over the whole fucking thing, and I'm like, don't matter if I splash it everywhere else because I'm painting over all that anyway. So I don't know. I was tempted to try it out on my Blitzer bomber, but I don't know. And also, I tend to sort of not overuse the yellow. Nothing in my army is really covered head to toe in yellow, like a lot of Bad Moons are. It's just bits of yellow here and there, and so I don't know. I might use it at some point on a larger miniature.
Conservative Bad Moon, Jesus, there's a first time for everything, huh?
Well, I don't want it all yellow. I've got to leave some space for gold.
That's true. Five Header was saying I have used their red for Evil Sons and had the same issues. What, trying to get the colour match, Five Header, for the spray and the colours?
Well, that's the thing, because if I do spray something yellow, at some point later on when I'm painting the other bits, I'm going to splash a bit of black on it. I'm going to splash, some green on it somewhere, and I'm going to have to go in and tidy that up because I'm a bit of a messy painter, and I get the finished result looks neat and crisp and everything, but that's because I've gone over the same bit like 7 times fixing it. And if I'm then, you can't fix that with more spray, you've got to fix that with the paint. So it's really important that it matches really close. Although with orcs, you can get around that by applying, the bit that doesn't look quite right. You just go, all right, I'll apply some battle damage to that, and that'll be fine. Which is what I do all the time. Usually the battle damage on my vehicles is it's placed a mixture of randomly and I'll hide that bit that I fucked up.
Or forgot.
Yeah. I'll come out and say, fuck it. I'll put a dent on there. That can be a scratch.
The old Chuck Norris footprint. Chuck Norris was here. You know what I mean? Boom.
Yeah.
What I was saying, it's just that black is the base to dry brush metal over it. Look, wank over red. Masking tape would work, to be fair. That's true. You could do masking tape, but then you're going to have to start with the problem of masking tape. That's more effort. You know what I mean?
Some of the bits you're painting, man, are so fucking small. Masking tape, some bits be fucking nightmare.
I mean, I'm sure it's applicable in some circumstances, but you want to get your technique down where you don't have to do anything that isn't painting.
I think the thing is, well, I think a lot of Dread's frustration with trying to teach me new techniques and me just refusing to take them on is because, yes, I probably could learn some new techniques and different ways of doing things, but that would mean stopping my progress to learn some new shit. Whereas I could just carry on doing what I'm doing because I know it works. And so that's what I've done. I'm like, I've got a technique down, and now I just rinse and repeat, and just keep doing that to all my miniatures, and stuff just gets painted. So that's just what I can continue to do.
But I think this is it. Like, initially when we were starting painting these armies up, the first mob of 30 boys, if I had any hair of any decent length left in my head, I would have pulled it out, because halfway through painting the first unit, I'm going through 15 boys and I'm painting a scheme, and then I'm like, no, I don't like that scheme. I need to repaint this bit. and repaint that. You know what I mean? So having it hashed out before you start is really good, man. Like getting your technique down, and then you don't want to be changing it halfway through doing an army or a project or whatever.
No, definitely not.
It's different when it's a once off sort of. Maybe you're doing a bust or whatever. You can experiment a bit more and develop.
Yeah, I think if I was to start like a new army, and maybe when I do my Blood Bowl team, because that'll be something completely separate, I'd be free then to go, oh, I might try something different with these, and I might do something a little different. Hell, maybe I'll even give Zenithal highlighting a go with them guys. You never know.
Oh, Quite and Dread up for once.
Yeah.
It'll take more than that to Quite and Dread up.
Maybe I'll give it a go.
Hobby Kit is saying that is the issue with an old army. My painting ability is noticeably superior these days. You can, I know people who've literally started painting an army when they first got into the hobby, and the first miniature to the last miniature in a 2,000 point army, their painting improved massively to the point where the guy stripped the whole army down and painted them again. I'm like, fair play to you. That's dedication to the cause, but it's a bit much for me. But
I've touched up like old units in my Necron army, like the first ones that I painted. I went back later on and touched them up to bring them up to date with the later ones I'd done, because my painting had got better over time. But yeah, that's a bit too drastic for my liking.
Paint them again.
Or just keep adding to your army and keep those ones that are less well painted. Don't use them, and then just keep them for when you're playing a big apocalypse game and you throw everything on the table. And they can be like your reserve batch that they're not quite so good, so they only come out on the table when you really need them, kind of thing.
To make up the numbers.
Yeah.
I get you. I do indeed. Rivets saying Zenithal saves a lot of time, no blending, layering needed. I glaze more than I paint. And this is it. What did they say? There's more than one way to skin a cat, you know?
There is, but do you know what? The highlighting and that bit that's my favourite part. That's the edge highlighting and doing those bits. That's actually my favourite part. That's the bit that's the only part of the painting I actually really enjoy. Is that final bit of doing those final highlights and the satisfaction of seeing the thing suddenly go from like flat colour to even at that stage it's got the shading on it, so I've already applied the ink, so it's already added the depth to it, but then I add that final highlight and the ring really starts to pop and I'm like, oh wow. And it's really satisfying to see that sort of slowly come up like that. So I would kind of miss that part actually, because that's my favourite part.
I know what you mean. It's like you get to a certain point in a paint job and then you're chipping away, you're like, it doesn't look great. Especially if you're first trying out a painting scheme. It doesn't look great, and you just sort of have to keep chipping away at it until you'll get to a point where it all finally comes together. Maybe you're putting a wash on, maybe you're getting to highlight stages, but it'll get to a point where if you persevere enough, it'll all come together visually. So don't give up on them paint jobs.
That definitely happened with my Death Dreads. I was like, I was losing confidence, and
as you progressed.
Yeah, and I was like, they're just, I don't know, they're just not looking great. And then, like I said, I just keep going, don't. It's too late now. There's no turning back. Just keep going. But I wasn't confident. But then, like I said, once it got to that final stage, and I was like, there you are, there he is. Good stuff. And it's just satisfying. It's so satisfying, especially on the yellow, because I use this very muted yellow. So at first, they're looking sort of more like a mustardy, almost brown, almost beige sort of color. But then when I go in with that real bright yellow highlight along the edges, the yellow suddenly pops and it looks yellow again. I'm like, there it is. But I don't see that until the very final stage. But I don't let it pop now, because like I'm looking at it right now on these guys, but I know what that's going to look like when I'm done. At the moment, it looks very muted, but I know what it will look like when I put that final bit on.
But this is it though, like you've painted through enough of them, you already know what the end result's going to look like. I'd say it's very daunting when you're initially trying to sort out a paint job.
Yeah, it is. When you're trying something new first time, you're like, oh, you just don't know how it's gonna end up.
Then you're wasting your time. Is it gonna work out? What's the end result gonna look like? Am I gonna have to repaint this again? You know? Be asking yourself a fair few questions. Like even this big mech here, I'm not too sure what way I want to paint them yet, but I'll just, you know, retouching up areas of them with the black. Go from there.
Well, I know my color scheme of all my miniatures because it's the same color scheme on every single one, but I never know where the colors are going to go. I pick up an Orc boy and I'm like, it's a mixture of brown and black clothes, yellow, gold, and black armor, and I'm just kind of go, I'll make that bit yellow, and he can have one black shoulder pad, he have one yellow shoulder pad, he can have, you know, a gold bit there and a yellow bit there, and I just sort of. But that's kind of fun as well, just to make that bit up as I go along. And so even though they've got a uniform color, it's all in different places and dotted around on them. So
this is it. Even doing the same paint job on the same miniature, you can mix things up a little bit. You know, it doesn't have to be the same across the board.
Which is handy when you got a few of the same, like, you know, heads and bodies and stuff. You know, right, that I've got two guys there with the same head, so I'll paint that helmet yellow and that one black, so they don't look too similar. And no matter how hard we try, we do get repeats.
What's he saying? He's saying I'm really enjoying using dwarf bronze and screaming bell on my orcs for the metal bits. Screaming bell is such a vibrant copper. Nice, very nice. I use the lead belcher, and then I'll use like Castellax bronze, which is kind of like a 10 bits kind of color. I don't even know if I have one here that has. Oh, maybe this guy does. Yeah. So yeah, Pain Boy needs like a final highlight. You can see the Castellax bronze here, and I was experimenting with the contrast colors for the tubing on this guy. So it looks all right. I was just experimenting with it a little bit. That's why it looks kind of odd compared to the rest of it. That's literally just base coated in it. I think it's like Wraithbone or one of those colors, and then the Yanden Sun or whatever it is. And it looks good enough for me. I need to redo the grot, I think.
Roxy's orcs are looking awesome, man.
Oh, they do, man. They look sweet. They look sweet.
It's surprising how effective a pink color scheme on orcs looks. It contrasts really well with the skin. They look really cool done in pink, actually. Very cool.
Jude is saying models are looking great. Scare. Thanks, Jude. Mostly Zen, that's more subtle, but his hand looks really cool. Scare. Cheers. Yeah, it's just do the metals. Like I do the metals, and I'll pick out some of them in different colors just to give it some, you know, some variation. Like having it all metal in my eye, you know, it looks a bit plain. You know what I mean? I like to have a little bit of something mixed in, and then I just go over the whole thing with a brown wash that unifies it all. And really, I should be coming back in with the likes of characters. I don't bother with boys really, but coming back in with the lead belcher again on the edges, hit up the edges. You know what I mean? And
yeah, I do a little bit of that on the boys. I pick out some of the. I don't pick out like all the edges.
No, Jesus, that way madness lies, mate. It's like bleeding the 80 of them in this list.
It's what I'm doing.
Well, fair play to you, but you know.
Like I said, but I don't go for every. It's just literally the. So like a gun will have like lots of edges and different bits that you could highlight, but I literally just how do I describe it? Like the very edge of a gun.
Like a leading edge.
You would go into all the different edges, but yeah, the leading edge, the actual edge of the big shape. I just sort of highlight that bit just to give it a little bit of definition, and even then, it's just like a little bit over, just to give it some. But then other bits, I can get away with not that bit.
Like I'll even do a bit now, so I'll do a little bit on the Pain Boy. But it makes a massive difference, I find, especially on detail. The Pain Boy, I still haven't finished his skin. It'll be more like the Warbanner knob. I keep pulling him out, but that's only because he's the one that's closest to being finished. So you can see the difference between, like, his skin is just base coat and wash, but even that's like grand. You know what I mean? Whereas the skin on the knob has had like base coat, wash, layer, and then think like a final highlight layer.
They don't call it liquid talent for nothing.
You know? Fun times. Even a bit more weathering needs to be done on the Warbanner knob. But I don't mind. I like having your miniature where it's mostly done, or it's all base coats and it's all got, some parts are high definition, like the shoulder pad wanted a camo scheme on it. You know what I mean? But it's still, the way it is now is tabletop. It's good enough. And those pants need some camo on them. But most people will look at that and go, it's finished. But I'm like, no, I want to go back and do this and do that bit.
I cut lots of corners. My all the brown bits on mine, except for the characters. I did go over on the characters and highlight the browns on them, like the leather bits. But on all my boys and stuff, it's just flat brown with a wash, and that is it. 2-stage technique: brown, wash, done. It's perfectly serviceable. It looks great, and because it's kind of a secondary, it's not what the eye's drawn to anyway. It's not something that anyone notices, because all the eyes is drawn to the yellow bits and the gold bits and that.
This is very true.
I think it's just, you can kind of pick and choose, but you pick the colours you kind of want the eye to be drawn to, and the primary colours, and some of the secondary sort of background colours you can just leave very simple and you make it easier on yourself.
This is very true. It's the first time I've bothered putting a mix of ball inside a GW paint pot, and I'm getting a bit worried at the lack of sound coming out of it. I'm like, no. Dodgy blood axes. Too right, mate. Too right. Gary based 6x30 boys, Storm boys, Commandos, Borna boys, Knobs, Warbanner. Like that way.
That's a lot of rebasing, man.
That's a lot of rebasing. But I'm finding an issue because I've been used to looking at these Blood Bowl orcs. It's getting odd for me looking at the 25mm basis, but I'm like, I am in me bollocks.
Is there a chink in the armor there?
I don't know. No, there's no way, mate. There's over 300 miniatures I've got painted onto or glued onto 25mm. There isn't there.
I've rebased virtually all my orcs, except for my slugger chopper boys. They're the only ones that are still on 25s. But that's only because I don't really care about them. They haven't got enough DACA for my liking anyway, so.
No,
I mean, I play them in games, but they're all unpainted and stuff anyway. So
they get used and abused, do they?
Yeah. Also, a lot of my slugger chopper boys are the snap fit ones.
Well, I have a few of them. I have a good few of them. Good chunk of them.
Most of my slugger chopper boys are the Black Reach boys, and I just can't face the mold lines on them.
Oh, these old lads here. That's what these boys are.
The mold lines, I can't fight that. That's like single miniatures and snap fit miniatures save you a lot of time in one area. But I find mold lines so much more easy on multi-part miniatures because I just have a little arm, go around the arm, done. Go around the torso, done. And I find that it's so much quicker than one solid. Like trying to get in all the areas.
Yeah, no, I know what you mean. Trying to get in under the arm. Like I have one here on camera, and just to show people who don't know what the Assault and Black Reach guys are like, this is literally, if you include the base, it's a 4-part miniature. So it's like the base, this arm is separate, this head is separate, and it's just push fit. You can even kind of see, don't know if it's loose, but the head is a plug as well, and then it's just a pain because this whole part is cast in one, this back, this arm, the neck, and it's just a pain scraping the mold line all the way up and around and trying to get in onto the. I mean, it can be done, but I know what you're on about, Steve.
It's a ball like removing mold is just the worst thing. But they are great. I do love those snap fit boys because you just to get if you're playing with unpainted. And you just want to you can get them. A load of most of mine, I don't even think are glued. They're just slotted into the base and the head's pushed in and the gun arm put in, and that's it. They're good to go. And they look aesthetically they're exactly the same as the normal kit.
Oh, the normal boys, yeah, they're based off of it, and you could chop and change some bits. They just look a bit static in their pose. So if you look at their pose, it's like they're holding their axe upright, or the sword is.
I still use a lot of the bits from both the boys and the knobs from that kit mixed in with the more up to date ones, because there's some really cool like heads and arms there, especially in the knobs.
For the Assault and Blackreach knobs.
Yeah, I think even this big mech. This big mech that I've got here, he is a combination of Blackreach bits and.
Look, we'll go to Stevo close cam there. Is it in focus?
Probably not.
Oh, we can see what you did there. Yeah.
He's got all sorts of parts on him, but he's
his chopper arm is like the Assault and Blackreach one. His torso is Assault and Blackreach, but you've done like a knob shooter arm, the knob kit head.
Yeah, he's got one of his arms is from the knobs kit, and one of them is from the Blackreach knobs kit. And his whole body, the body and the legs is Blackreach as well. His whole torso. Yes, because I can see the peg bit. And I started learning, what did I do? I cut little bits of the actual frame of the sprue. So where the knobs have like a ball and socket joint on the sort of neck and head, if you put the head on a Blackreach body, it sinks in a bit far, and it looks like he doesn't have a neck.
Yeah, so I have to build something up. Yeah.
So on the neck, I just got like a little bit, on the sprues, you've got like little round bits in the corners, sort of like almost little peg bits on the actual outline of the sprue itself.
I do know what you're talking about. I don't know if I have any.
They're the exact same size as a neck joint on a Blackreach Orc. So I glued that on and then just with a thing carve it. So I just basically turn it into a ball and socket joint. So then the normal knob heads fit on there perfectly. You can pose them just like you would, and so do little things like that. And it just gave me so much more variety and stuff in the bodies and stuff. But yeah, they mix in really well. Just a little bit of modification.
You want about these circly bits on the sprue?
Yeah, they're the exact same size, man. So you just clip one of them off, sort of carve it out into like a dome shape, and then glue it on the end, and boom, you've got a ball and socket joint. Neck joint on your Blackreach knobs.
Knob heads, for better saying. Boom, boom.
But yeah, they are tricks, and they've got some cool like heads and stuff in that set that just adds more variety to your knob set.
Well, this is it. You want to mix and mash some stuff, and like you can do a few bits and pieces with the Assault on Blackreach boys. Look, I even use some of these Assault on Blackreach boys to do me looter bodies, because there's one specific type of torso that's standing up pretty flush, and I'd cut off the arm. You could probably even do it with this body. So you just take the arm off, and then you can cut this one sort of flush, and then the rig for the looters, like the arms on both sides, just sits over, because the central torso bit is so similar to. Like, it's like an Orc boy kit, but there's just no connection down here or on this arm. That's all. You know what I mean? They cut a couple of corners, but literally, like a lot of my looters were Assault and Blackreach boys. I think a fair few of them were like I got out of second-hand batches or whatever, and I just lobbed the arms off of them. When I got the Borna boy kits, and I was like, oh, you're trying to make the most of the looter kit as well. So get yourself Assault and Blackreach boys. Build some looters with them, and then the rest of the boys out of that kit build Borna boys, and there you go. You'll have like 9. You'll have 4 Bornas, a mech, and 4 looters.
Blackreach was just great. So obviously, when I sold off my stuff originally, when I got back into the hobby, Blackreach was long gone. But I was saved by good old Battle for Veterans.
Yeah,
and I bought about 4 of these.
Is that still full?
No, these have all long since been used. This is actually just filled with foam now. I think there might be a couple of weird boys inside there. But yeah, I just bought several of these sets. Just had fun with them, mixing the bits and.
Because they were the old Assault and Blackreach rebranded, weren't they? And then quite a few Lucky Geeks got it on sale. Like.
Sales on it, this was half price to 25 quid. And for 25 quid, I got the Orc Warboss, 5 knobs, 12 boys, and a Deathcopter. And I just bought it several times over. So stocked up on my Deathcopters, Warbosses, boys, knobs, and and that's how I got back into the hobby. That's how I started off. I just bulked out dirt cheap to get the core of my army, and then slowly was adding bits.
It came with a Warboss, did it?
Yeah, it's got the old Blackreach Warboss, so I had a couple of them knocking about.
That's a better box set to start with than the starter box set we have now, for Christ's sakes. You know what I mean? Pain Boy, Deathred.
Yeah, for sure. I walked into Game because for a very short while we've got in the UK we've got a store. It's like GameStop.
We have it, we have it here as well. Well, it's like GameStop.
For a little while, they were stocking these Vedros sets and the whole sort of easy build sets, and they had the Grot set as part of it, and some of the older trucks and stuff. Because I got the other one I got was the Truck Boys kit as well, and.
That was the old Cork and Walker truck, wasn't it?
Yeah, and so I got a few of the old bits at just bargain prices. And I think Game they were selling it for a little while, and then they decided they weren't going to sell it more, and they were just selling them off dirt cheap. And I remember taking him to the till, and he was just like boom, just forced. I just took all 4 of them off the shelf. And I'll have them.
the realization I've had that in toy stores as well that are no longer stocking Games Workshop. I think I bought one kit and they're like, do you know these are all 50%? I was like, how are they now? Bear with me one moment, please. And lo and behold,
I may have actually been a dirty scalper with a couple of them. I think I bought a couple and just stuck them straight on eBay, and they sold for more than I bought them for.
Yeah, sure, why not? Boo. Filthy bad milk, boo!
Got to get them teeth, mate.
This is it.
I was quite masterful in getting back into the hobby in a budget way at the beginning, for sure.
Wherever you can save the pennies. Like, I loved it when the Assault and Blackreach Force sort of came out because it was €40 for the box set. I remember specifically the price because I was annoyed when they bumped the price up to like €60. So it was 40
€40. That's an absolute steal, isn't it?
Yeah, it was €40. Obviously there's like inflation and stuff, but I always compare things in price to minimum wage. Minimum wage in Ireland, I think, was like €8 something back then, and I think minimum wage now is €9 something. So it's not
5 hours work, and you've got a Blackreach set.
Yeah, take you more than 5 hours to get a starter set now, mate. You know what I mean? Jesus.
Yeah. That Blackreach was a fantastic set, wasn't it? I had the set. That's how I started my Tyranid army as well. Actually, the set before that.
The Battle for McCrag.
Yeah,
the Crash Lander. That was a good one, man. That terrain
it was a great set. Because the Gene Stealers in that again snap fit, but I
have a few of them. Yeah.
It looked just the same as the other ones. You didn't have like the options that you got in the sets.
No.
Heads but
you just sort of snap fit them together.
Yeah, they were fantastic.
That's one of them there. That's how that set you're on about. This one's being done in contrast paints, I think. But that's one of them. You know, just
that was a cracking little set. That was.
Does the job.
Lander. They go for a bit now, don't they, on eBay? Those Crash Landers from that set.
We don't know, but I won't be selling mine anytime soon. You know what I mean? But once I'm dead and gone, it'll be some good inheritance money for somebody.
Yeah, for sure.
Be like, I'll put it up for $5. I'm sure somebody will pay us that. I'll be like, no. Rolling in your grave. You know what I mean? The missus selling your miniatures for the amount you told her you spent on them. You'd be heartbroken.
Yeah, they've done some cracking starter sets over the years.
They have, man.
Even in Fantasy, Battle for Skull Pass, getting a Goblin army and that was a cracking deal as well. But you got all the trolls and the spider riders and everything, and again they looked just like the full Spider Rider kit, but they were snap fit ones, and they look really cool.
Oh, I remember I got it at one point, but I had the dwarfs, so I collected dwarfs at that point because I always thought the rules for orcs were garbage, man. Oh, the animosity rules.
He should have split them. So he had 2 sets of dwarves, and I had 2 sets of the goblins, and both ended up with like quite sizable armies just kicked straight off.
Well, that's what you'd want. I think I did a swapsy with someone as well, and I did something like that where I had 2 lots of the dwarfs or whatever. But I don't think that box set, the casts in that box set, were as good as the Assault and Black Reach stuff, even though that came after. I think I can remember the dwarfs not being as good, because they were literally just cast in one piece. Oh, it is good, man. Roxy saying she still has that terrain. I have Skull Pass still too. 500 are saying they're going to be at least 60, or I would say, which for the Crash Landers.
Yeah, they go for some money, man. They're very popular. Very popular indeed.
Well, it's a nice bit of terrain, like the Quilla Landers.
Just buy a broken flyer from someone and make your own one.
This is it. You can always do that. If you're doing like eBay rescue boys,
broken vehicles, they're great for terrain. Yeah. Buy an old beaten up Land Raider or whatever and make it a bit of terrain.
Yeah, if you can't repair, if it's too far gone, if a vehicle's too far gone for an orc player to loot, then it's terrain. Yeah. Simple as add it to the scrapyard.
Kick it down the stairs, glue it to a base, job done.
Cover it in sand, spray with PVA. There you go.
Yeah.
Happy days. And then even some of these, like, what's this one? A Windsor and Newton. That's a base and brush that I use. I need a brush for dealing with metal. It's another base and brush glue. Here, look, we'll use this brush. I don't even know. There you go. Angus Goodleaf is saying he's still waiting on the Tiger Wagon. Since when? Last year, mate, or this year? I hope it's this year. They only did 100 of them, didn't they?
Yeah. Unless you got the, I think 100 singly, and then you could get them through buying the whole lot, couldn't you?
It's a big set.
Some people had more disposable income than I do. That's for damn sure. The only reason I could get Norzilla was because I had a little birthday payout, and I was like, nice. I'll get myself a squig off.
So you got him?
Yeah, I had the phone call. Yeah, he's come. He came yesterday, and he is gorgeous. I will do once I've built him, I will do a review on the channel. He's just, I'm so impressed. So impressed. The head and the face, the detail on him, on the tongue and everything. You can see all his individual taste buds. It's awesome. Yeah, really good. I'm really impressed. Really impressed. He's a real simple. The whole body is just one big block of resin, and then he's got his 4 legs. His head comes in 2 parts, and that's it. He's built. It's 5 parts for the squig off himself, and then the Haldor bit is just 2 parts, and then the 2 parts for the gun. So he's very simple to put together miniature, and he looks really clean as well. I've seen some very minor slippage and stuff that needs a little clean up, but really good quality resin, really good quality mold and cast. Yeah, very impressed. But Cromlech rarely disappoint with their products.
They're good customer service though. If I've ever had any problems, they get through to you. They'll sort you out. You know what I mean? I haven't now that I say it, I don't think there's been many companies that have had many customer service issues with, to be honest with you. When it comes to modeling, I don't really stray too far though, but anytime I've had an issue, it tends to get sorted. I'm sure there's horror stories out there, but in general, if there's a problem with a miniature, most of the manufacturers or the stores will sort it out.
There's one thing you can always say about GW as well, and they've always had very good customer service in that respect.
Oh yeah, if you have a problem with any of the miniatures, like the last time I had a problem was with the Kill Team box set. And the Mechanicus guys, they were just miscast or broken, or they must have been broke when they were going into their packaging or something like that. And the staffer just literally took a box off of the shelf, gave it to me. I handed him the sprues, and then pushed back the sprues that I had as well. And he's like, there you go. I was like, all right, cheers, bud. So I donated them to someone else.
I've even had good service with eBay, just buying off people. You know, there are lots of sites on eBay and that sell off bits, and I just bought a KFF from like the Mega Knobs set. I wanted a KFF to build one of my KFF Big Mechs, and it arrived, and it was where they'd clipped it off the sprue. Someone had been a bit overzealous and kind of bent and snapped a bit off of it. And when it came in the post, I said to them, and they were like, I was like, "Can you send me another one?" Like, and they were like, "Oh, we don't have another one. We'll just refund you." And then I ended up doing a bit of a conversion on it and fixing it and making it work, and basically got it for free. I was like, "All right, cool."
Scammer. Scamming the system.
I didn't want to have to do that, but I was like, "Oh, fuck it. If I'm stuck with it, I'll make it work."
Is saying more service I had is hands down Forge World. It's funny you say that. I've had some problems with them as well in regards to some of their bits. It depends. It's a mixed bag. But yeah, I wouldn't go out of my way to buy Forge World stuff unless you really, really wanted it. Like, the only thing I think I have my eye on is the Gargantuan Squig Up, but part of me is like,
I've only ever had good experiences with Forge World, but I haven't bought anything from Forge World other than a book for years, not since I was in the hobby previously. I got a Black Legion Dreadnought, what are they called now? Hellbrutes, who was a fucking lovely miniature for me, Black Legion army. Actually fully painted him up as well. He was good, and I had a few when I was doing my Lost in the Damned. I bought a lot of their Renegade bits and stuff for their like traitor guardsmen and bits like that.
Ooh, they look swank.
There was some cool bits there.
Did you have any of the ogres and stuff for the traitor guardsmen?
No, I made a lot of my own ones out of bits, sort of ogre-sized ones. But these were like just Imperial Guardsmen one, but they were like really cool. Really cool. They had sort of gas masks on, and they had like the Chaos Star carved into their chests and things. And they were just like really crisp detail, and they were lovely miniatures. I ended up giving them away.
You gave them away?
Yeah, I gave them all away to my brother-in-law, and then when I got back into hobby, I said, "You still got them?" This was quite a few years later. He was like, "Nah, bastard." I gave him like I had 60 custom-made mutants for me. Lost in the Damned, mixed in big mutants and everything. I had warhounds from Fantasy. I used a lot of them in the army as well. Mixed them in a bit. And
Orc stuff is saying Forge World's okay if you buy it from the shop. That's true, Orc stuff. Most of the stuff I bought has been from the shop.
You're covered then, aren't you?
Well, you get to pick the bag up and have a look yourself and go, now pick up the next one. Look for miscasts and the lines. Yeah, that one will do. You know what I mean? You can't do that when you buy online. You're just sent what you're sent and hope for the best.
And you always know when you call up and complain that you're getting someone in trouble, because they always put the name of the person that packed it, don't they? And that, and you always know the supervisor's giving someone a bollocking. Oh, you should have concentrated more.
What have I told you?
That's where I don't like when I've heard stories of people buying things from like GW or whatever, and then there's been nothing wrong with it at all, and they're called up and complain.
People taking it to piss me. Yeah.
And I know a lot of people say, "Oh, it's a victimless crime. They're a big company and make fucking millions, and they're fine." Like, yeah, but you don't realise how companies work. That person on the ground floor getting paid a minimum wage for packing this stuff, they get spoken to about this stuff. You know, their scores come in monthly, and but you've had a 5% fucking return rate or whatever. We're going to be, people get in trouble for shit like that. So if you got to think about that,
you need to be retrained, mate. You know what I mean?
I know people do stuff like I've known people do it. Even places like McDonald's and stuff. They're like, they've had their order and there's nothing wrong with it. But they get back home and they say, "Oh, you haven't put my fucking chips in or something," and "Oh, sorry, we'll give you a free meal and that next time you come," and they think it's a lovely little scam and they keep doing it. But you're getting someone in trouble there because their code is on the receipt. It does get traced back to them. It's not a victimless crime, people. Don't be putting shit like that.
Paint the pain boys. Oh, this needs to be painted. He's not finished yet, but I'll get there. Is it a nut? Is it doing your nut in? Is it all right? We'll get the brush out just for you. What'll I do? I'll get out corn red.
Oh, that's the best in it when you show miniatures in progress and someone says, "Oh, you need to do this.
You need to paint the eye. It's not fucking finished, mate." Do I have a fine detail brush to do as well? I might end up with a blob of paint here instead. You know what I'll do? I'll rock out the old broken toad brush. We'll go super fine detail. Oh, actually, no, there we go. The free brushes I got with massive paint sets from Vallejo. We'll crack them open. I haven't tried these yet, but we'll give them a bash.
You know you're getting detailed when you like pluck a hair from your beard to fucking get that detail in.
And you're still not happy. It's like, no, that one was too thick.
When you're trying to paint the eyes on your snotlings.
It's way out of that. Right, synthetic. What's this size? I don't know. 3.0 or something. Or yeah, this one I'll do. This is the smallest one. We'll give it a bash. Brand spanking new. Jude's asking you something. Hey, Stevo, do you know if knobs are able to take a custom shooter and a melee weapon together legally? Rules question for you.
Yeah, well, not in the codex because they did away with custom shooters for most things.
Boo.
They did away with them, which sucks balls. But you can still equip them with custom shooters with Legends rules. But the rules now, like because they're two-handed weapons, so like my knob in my shooter boy squad has got a combi rocket, so he can't have a chopper or a big chopper or anything because he's got a two-handed weapon. So I would imagine that custom shooters fall into that bracket as well. So no is the answer either way. But if you're using Legends rules, he can still have a custom shooter. But yeah. So yeah, but doing away with custom shooters, that sucks, man. That sucks because I've got a mixture of all kinds of knobs. I've got Black Reach knobs, I've got current knobs, and I've got the old school metal ones, and they used to come with custom shooters. Yeah, custom shooters are awesome, man. Awesome, especially in the shooter boy squad. If your knob's leading a mob of shooter boys, of course he's going to have the best, especially if he's a bad moon as well. Of course he's going to have the best shooter in the squad. Why is he going to be running around with a load of boys with shooters and he's got a fucking slugger? That's just not going to happen, is it? He's going to make damn sure he's got the best shooter. So yeah, it sort of sucks.
You can barely see that because his bleeding eyelid is in the way. But there you go, his eyes are red. We'll do another layer in a minute. Normally, we've sort of...
I always paint my orc eyes. Does anyone out there? Because I know a lot of people don't bother painting their orc's eyes. A lot of people actually prefer not to paint them, and even but. I must admit, most of the time when you're looking down at the orcs, you don't see their eyes because they're kind of the droop brow over the eyes. You kind of have to hold it up, and you're there he is, and you see his eyes. When you're at eye level with them, you can see the eyes, but unless you've got them sort of screaming up to the sky. But I do like painting their eyes. I think it just gives them that finishing touch.
Mate, if somebody picks up me Gretchen and starts telling me that, I haven't finished painting them because their eyes aren't done, I tell them where they can shove the miniature.
There you go, Dread. I hope you're listening, mate. You know how to walk when you meet. But having said that, we'll be picking up your miniatures, mate, and going, hang on, this one's still grey.
I love it. I love it. I really do. Well, why don't we do 2K? Yeah. It's like, hold on a minute. Nobody said 2K now, bud. Pump the brakes.
That's some beautiful Zenithal highlighting. It's a shame you don't fuck all else, but it's some beautiful Zenithal highlighting you got going on there.
Prime job on this is amazing.
Oh, Dread. I hope you're watching all these videos, Dread. We'll be looking forward to some good retort videos when you're up and running again. He's probably storing all this shit up, writing it all down. Right, you fuckers, you wait till I'm back.
Have we made the list yet?
I should hope so. I've been working hard enough.
Putting the graft in.
Yeah. Finding the knife right in, I have. And then there's Dim, who was way ahead of any of us.
Well, I don't know if his army counts though, because it's like from the before time, you know.
The dark times.
The dark times. Before painting challenges were issued amongst friends. That coil needs to be painted. No, I'm going to paint the colour to do it though. I normally do everything red. I'll do his little opticals red. I do a nice dueling technique for...
What's that? You're doing lenses and stuff, are you?
Yeah, I do them red.
I do mine blue.
Brush is alright, actually. It's not too bad. Hopefully if the bleeding camera was in focus, like, you know what I mean? Hold on, let me have a look here, see if we can sort this bleeding thing out. That camera, this camera, that camera. It's not the focus. Never mind your autofocus. It's a bit better. There you go. You can see the miniature better than I can at this point. So it's a little, like his eyelid comes right up. It's like his eyelid comes. He's like, His eyelid comes right up, so you can barely see his bleeding eye when you're painting. I actually thought there was more to it, but that's how she's looking. Like I said, still a bit work in progress. We'll get there. Slowly. His skin's not even finished. And then the base coats. I think I did. I think I used one of the greys from AK Interactive Air Series. I hate these paints. These are the only paints I've ever bought, and I've thought they were garbage. Don't buy these. They're rubbish. They're utter rubbish. Says you can paint them on. No. Rubbish. Essex Boy says, looking great, Scar. Cheers, bud. It only takes me like a decade and a bit. I'll have a, give me 15 years and I'll have 2,000 points done. Eventually. And I don't learn me lesson. I keep buying more. You know what I mean?
The good thing for you is that you've done, because you've got a good sort of amount of boys in your list, you've done the real sort of core bit. So you increasing your army from here on in should be kind of easy for you. Should be just focusing on the bigger stuff, the vehicles and bits. And
well, this is what I said to you about the points increase. That like the 2,000 points, like I've 30 looters done, but only 10 are in my 1,500 point list. So the next 500 points, like 2 units of 10 looters, that's like 400 or something like that. So I just need 100 points.
And you watch, just as you're about to hit that goal, the codex will come out and
it'll be cheaper again.
That's
fine. I wouldn't mind, because I'd like to put a flyer in, because I'd like to try some like I think the flyer, one of the flyers would be good for getting some painting done, like some I'd like to try some masking techniques with the airbrush to do some camo, or just do some freehand camo. You know what I mean? Just try some camo colours. It'd be a good bit of crack.
I mean, I am hoping actually. Like I said, I worked out my list the other day, and if I get my Gorkanaut painted, I can add him and a couple of the other bits that I've already got painted, and that will take me to 2,000 points as well. So I could literally, after this, just have one miniature to paint to get it to 2,000 points. So that is, and I'm quite looking forward to painting him. Actually, just one big miniature would be quite nice, especially after doing all these little guys.
Yeah, it would be nice. All right. Yeah, it's going to do.
He'll make a nice centerpiece to my dread mob.
Oh yeah, definitely.
You have that squig off tempting me. That's going to be fun to paint as well.
It's calling to you, is he?
Yeah, he looks. Oh, he looks so cool. I certainly can't wait to build him. Have him built. He's
probably saying that most of the body is like one piece, though, is it?
Yeah, the whole body is literally, you're just adding the head and the legs on, and it is just one solid block. And it's heavy as well, man. I mean, if you could use that as a bludgeoning weapon, you know.
Your opponent's annoying you.
Oh, you could end someone. It was Stevo in the hobby room with the squig off body. It really is. It's brutal.
Shield was saying, I tried painting my Painboy as my first model, but it didn't end up looking very good. Jude, apparently this can be bought from Poundland, but I recently stripped a plastic miniature. It's get yourself a tub of this stuff. Pink stuff, the miracle cleaning paste or whatever it is. This is brilliant. This is great. I tried using the...
How do you use it? Because how do you use that to strip? What's the actual technique?
It's like a paste type stuff. Yeah, it's like a paste.
So do you dilute it? Do you break?
No. You just get this and you just scoop it up and put it onto the mini. And there's a bottle. It comes in bottle form as well. And I just literally poured it onto the mini. Covered it in it. Left it standing for a couple of hours. Came back to it with like Jesus, what did I wash it with? With like a scrubbing brush for your dish pan or whatever, or a toothbrush. You know, it's a cleaning product anyway, so you know it's to be used in the kitchen. It's not it's nothing that's you shouldn't be using. Like, it's designed for, what is it? It tells you to clean and paste, tough on saucepans, cooker top, sinks. You know what I mean? You're not going to be cleaning your cooker.
And she's used it on her oven and that, so.
Yeah. Well, this is it. Like, but I just did it for a couple of hours, maybe 2-3 hours at most. I didn't want to leave it too long because I was testing it. But I tried it on this battle mech, and I've done them in black again. But I stripped all the paint off of them. The only thing I had to do was come back in with my sculpting tool and sort of pick some of the stuff that was in the recesses. But it lifts easily. Like, it didn't stick. So yeah, this stuff, apparently it's like super cheap and it's handy, and it doesn't smell like arse like Dettol does. You know, because I tried the purple Dettol, but that didn't do nothing, man. That didn't do anything.
Yeah, I used Dettol stripping paint off metal miniatures, and you just cannot ever get rid of that smell until you paint it. Once you paint over it, it covers over the smell. But basically, I washed it and washed it and washed it and washed it, and it just smelled like a hospital.
Yeah, will do. It smelled like a hospital.
Forevermore.
Gary Hauser was saying, I just don't like the looks of the current Painboy. It looks like a Swiss Army knife in his hand. I get you, Gary. I'm not too enamored with the current Painboy myself. Like, he's all right, but like the head, the sculpt, you know, the dimensions of him, I'm not too enamored with him. But I've gone with him because he's plastic.
One of my awesome subscribers sent me the old school metal one with the grot orderly. I'm like, because I used to have him in my old army, and I was like, I miss that miniature. I love that one. And one of my subscribers amazingly sent me one. I was like, the memories. What a cool miniature.
It's a good one. It's definitely a good one. Is that the squat one where he sort of has a squat position?
Got the kill saw.
Yeah, and he's got a saw arm thing with a load of daggers and stuff sticking out.
Holding the tray of all the scalpels and everything on it.
I have him knocking around somewhere.
Awesome miniature.
Marcos is here. What's the crack, Marcos? Gio is asking, hey, Stevie, have you built and or painted Gazgul from Prophecy of the Wolf yet?
He is still on the sprue.
It's on the to-do list.
I excitedly got my Prophecy of the Wolf set, and the first thing I did was clip off all the Meganob bits and built more Meganobs.
I don't know where to put me Meganobs, man. I bought like what?
Haven't touched Gaz.
$3, isn't it?
Excitedly built more Meganobs to increase the size of my Meganob squad because I love Meganobs. I'll do him at some point, but he's a goth. You know, I've got him. I own him. That's the important thing.
He's on the to-do list, says you.
Yeah, a long way down the line, if I'm honest, because he's a goth. You know, it's all about the bad moons, baby.
Yeah, I know what you mean, man. I know what you mean.
I know you can paint him however you want. I've seen lots of people paint him in all different colours, but I won't be painting him in bad moon colours because it would just feel kind of wrong. I want him to be actually be Gaz.
No, I haven't touched mine either, and I'm trying to remember where I put on my Mega Knobs from those box sets. But they're not a priority at the moment.
He looks like he'll be fun to paint.
I would say so.
Yeah, Mega Knobs are going to be there, very high on my list. They've also been undercoated like the Gorkanaut has, and based and everything, and they are ready for the paintbrush to start going on them. But Gorkanaut just feels like a much less daunting prospect than 10 Mega Knobs. But yeah, they're high up on my list to get in there because I do love Mega Knobs.
I need to do something with mine to make them more, Blood Axe like. Paint them up in Panzer colors, maybe. I don't know. I'll have to think of something. Do them up like they're mobile tanks or something like that. This one's already got a wash in this grot, I think. Yeah, this grot's already got a wash. So there's the knob. I do love this commando knob. Great little pose with the cigar and everything.
Awesome miniature. Awesome miniature.
Cracking me. Absolutely cracking me.
I actually quite like the Tank Buster knob as well. He's got the tank commander's coat like draped over
him. Yeah,
he's not a bad. Not too keen on his rocket launcher. It looks a bit shit, but I prefer my Tank Buster knob. I prefer my Tank Buster knob. Don't know if he's probably out of focus, but
hold on. Perhaps if you tell me you want a close cam there, Steve, he is out of focus.
Is he? Let's see if we can get him in focus.
Wait for it. No, maybe. No. He's base coated. You can tell he's base coated. Yes, he does indeed look better than the other one.
If I do say so myself.
Essex Boys was saying the same. Love that Commando knob. He's one of my favourite sculpts. He is, man. He's absolutely mint.
Some of the Commando sculpts themselves are pretty cool as well.
They're good. I think the only problem you're going to have is because the unit's so small and it's only like 5 miniatures, having repeats of it. You know what I mean? It really sort of shows. And I think it's the same problem that you have with the Tank Busters as well.
Yeah. And the Tank Busters, you're stuck with the weapon choices. You've got a tank hammer in there. You've got some rocket pistols in there. And that's great if you want those. But
not so much if you don't.
I mean, they're all right to get one of them and then convert the rest and mix them in. They look fine. But
this is true. This is very true.
They got some weird faces on them, though, sort of the Tank Buster ones. They kind of, some of them almost have like a very old school orc look to them. They don't quite seem to, the faces and stuff, they don't quite seem to fit in with the rest of the range of the orcs.
I don't know. They're not as old as the boys' kit.
No, which is weird. Why they kind of, I don't know. Just some of the faces they're a bit longer, a bit. They just, I don't know. They're not quite. Something about them just seems a little bit off.
Trying to remember. I'm actually trying to remember when these commandos came out in 4th edition, man. That's how well these commandos are. In fact, I think it was released at the same time as this big mech. It's the City Fleet, because I have the White Dwarf off of it. Sort of like a strange sub-release.
Also, the trouble is that the Commandos and Tank Busters now are the failcast ones, aren't they? And
well, this is it. All mine are metal because I bought all of my orc stuff way before they even brought in the failcast.
And the worst failcast is the ones that were previously metal.
Yeah.
Because they're kind of like recast and yeah.
They resculpted them, or they redid the molds so that they could dome up. Yeah, that actually looks alright already.
The only thing I got from I bought the Tank Busters set. I bought it and then sold off all the Tank Busters on eBay just to get hold of the squigs.
The bomb squigs.
And they're in failcast, but do you know what? They're a little ball with legs. They're fine. They're
you
fine.
Get away with it.
Yeah, and the details there are great in them, but you can certainly feel the sort of the softness of the materials.
No, not for me. Not my cup of tea.
Like I said, I tolerated it just for the bomb squigs, but and I think I actually ended up getting them for free, basically, because the tank busters sold on eBay for pretty much what I got them for, and so the bomb squigs were basically free.
Nice.
That's the thing as well. If you're willing to go through the hassle of it,
or selling stuff,
if you want if there's a set and you just want that one miniature from like a squad of 10, you're like, I don't want the whole thing. I just want that one. Buy the whole set and then sell off the bits you don't want. You will make nearly all your money back and you'll get it for really cheap. Which is why I don't understand. I know a lot of people, because they don't have that money. It only works if you've got the money in the first place. But like when the set came out and people were like, oh no, I'm not buying the whole set, Prophecy of the Wolf, just for Gazzy. I'll buy him on eBay or whatever. And like, no, buy the set, rip Gazzy out, and then sell the rest off. You'll make, if you split it up, you'll make most of the money back and you'll get Gazzy for about $5.
I think it worked out like something like that for me. I bought 3 box sets and I think it worked out that I bought 3 box sets and then sold 3 Space Wolf halves, and I think it worked out then that I would have bought 1 box set for like 60 quid, but I ended up with 3 lots of the orc stuff, and then I sold one of the Gazzies off, and then I've got one for the Pale Orc here. But then I ended up with like 3 lots of Mega Knobs and 3 lots of Knobs and whatever else.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
That, like I said, that only works if, 1, you've got the money at hand to be able to do that in the first place, and 2, you can be bothered to go through the hassle. A lot of people
It's
don't want to go through the hassle of having to list it on site and sell it. But if you're willing to put in a bit more effort, you will save a load of money. And it did make me sort of laugh for a bit when people go, well, I haven't got the money for that. Like, we realise you wouldn't actually be spending all the money. You're temporarily spending it and to get most of it back. And it's not like something that, it might not sell. It will fucking sell. And it will sell for a lot. And you will make... And the people were buying Gazzy like off eBay and stuff and paying over the odds. I'm like, you're nuts. You're fucking nuts.
Should have bought the box.
Put in a bit of the effort. You get him for fucking next to nothing. Because those Mega Knobs will sell. You know, those knobs will sell. The Space Wolf stuff will certainly sell.
Oh yeah, because how many Space Wolves players out there wanted the new Logan Grimnar, like, or Ragnar Blackman? Sorry, Ragnar Blackman.
If it's Space Marines, it will fucking sell. If it's Games Workshop, it will sell. The good thing about these miniatures is they really don't lose their value. If you've got some stuff you don't want anymore, you're selling it off. Quite often you'll be amazed at what stuff goes for. I sold a friend of mine's his really old, like 3rd edition Dark Elder army. And it was fucked, man. He had about 3 Raiders, a Ravager, loads of... Some of them were quite rare because there was some classic old metal miniatures and stuff. But the vast majority of it was broken to fuck. And all the splinter rifles were snapped off. And there was loads of breakages. And I listed it on eBay for him and put it for sale for him so he could fund his new Tau army. And listed it with pictures. And I said in there, it was very explicit with... condition was, poor and a lot of this stuff's damaged. And I can't remember what it sold for, but it sold for loads more than I thought it was going to sell for. I'm like, fuck, man, I can't believe people pay this money for stuff that is really quite fucked. But they bought it and they were happy with the purchase.
Well, that's it. It's win-win.
It does hold its value. It really does. And especially if you're selling stuff off and then using that money to fund other stuff in the hobby, it's not like you're really, I don't mind selling some hobby bits and that if it's then funding new hobby bits, like I did with my Necron stuff recently. Sold that off because I knew I wasn't going to do it. It was pointless sitting there.
You're better off, mate. I've been doing that with a few Imperial bits I had lying around that I was going to sell off. You know what I mean? It's just, you get sick of looking at them. It's like, I'll sell off this Hydra flak tank,
Need to make more space for orcs.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I did.
I need to sell something. I definitely ain't selling any of my orcs. What else did I got?
I did kind of buy somebody's pile of shame for fairly cheap. I think I got it at about third retail price, but it's all still new in box. And I was like, oh, all right, so. Well,
yes, I saw that purchase of yours. That's a cracking
well,
little purchase.
It's doing well. But yeah, if you keep your eye out. But then again, you need to be able to do that. You need to have the money to go to someone, listen, I'll buy all of it off of you in one go, save you the hassle. Just knock a few quid off for me, you know what I mean?
Yeah, you can get things cheaper in bulk.
This is true. This is very true.
I mean, why do you think there's so many bit sellers on eBay and whole websites that sell bits? Because they buy a box for however much and clip all the bits off and sell them off separately, and they make a fair bit of profit on that box. And people fucking make a living doing that, man.
This is true. This is very true. PC Games Workshop themselves don't do it anymore.
Yeah.
What can you do? The skulls on the belt of this warboss are absolutely tiny and hilarious. Give you an idea of scale. How big the bugger is. Sound like you're enjoying yourself over there?
I was trying to mix it with my left, but it didn't feel right. It felt like someone else. Couldn't get the river.
like a stranger was mixing your paint for you there, huh?
Maybe if I sit on my hand for a bit so it goes numb.
This is it. Oh, good. Oh, I need to deal with his eye and whatever else. I still haven't decided what colour I want to do his shirt. I did want to do his backpack in like yeah, I'm gonna do some more, another layer in his backpack. Decided on the paints.
Come on. Stay focused. Come on.
Drunken Orca says the torso and legs do not match on that stumpy knob. Which stumpy knob? Okay, it's at least one issue. Boys, box knob is crap. Oh, mate, that bleeding torso bit is horrendous. I know what you're on about. Hold on. It is one of my many bits boxes around here.
I've got so many of them in my bits box, man.
What, the weird torso? The one that's like
in the boys set. Yeah, I've got so many of them torsos.
I don't bother with the knob out of the boys kit because the legs they give you are too small.
I'll just make 11 boys.
Yeah, it's the boys' legs, all right. So it's the legs in it are boys. Do yourself a favor, just buy a knobs kit. The knobs out of there are way better than the knobs in the boys' kit.
And they're so cheap. So it's one of the cheapest.
Yeah, it's one of the cheapest kits going. Like, so if you just get the knobs kit, right? So even if you're doing it for this, get the knobs kit, right? Get yourself some plastic card and a few bits. You can make yourself a wah banner knob out of it, right? Do that.
Like make a big neck out of them.
There's a better example, right? So get yourself a knobs kit, then buy yourself your boys kit. So this is literally an Assault on Black Reach knob with like 2 shooters, some plastic card. Like this is off of the Looters kit or whatever. Some plastic card work again and just some bits and pieces, right? So you can make yourself a wah banner knob. You could make yourself a pain boy if you wanted to out of the knob kit. And then out of the 3 knobs you have left, buy yourself 3 boxes of boys, right? So you'll have 11 boys each and take that knob and put it in, and then you've got 12 strong squads. They're perfectly truck size units now. Because your max transport capacity in your truck is 12. So you've got your 3 units of boys, you have 3 decent sized knobs from the good kits, and then you have a wah banner knob and a pain boy. Yeah, there you go, happy days. Good start, you know what I mean? Can't go wrong, right?
And big mechs, you want to make your big mechs for KFFs? Knobs set.
Knobs as well, yeah. Knobs set.
Again, it won't be in focus. I won't try and get it in focus, but I've got one of the cyborg looking heads from the knob set. They're perfect for big mechs. They're literally, as soon as you see that head, you're like, well, that's a big mech's head straight away, like instantly. They work perfectly. Make yourself a little KFF on the back and away you go.
Nice.
Yeah, knobs set is fantastic set for that. I have thought about converting a pain boy actually, though, using the knob torso from the boys set because
it's doable.
I feel like it. Yeah, I feel like with there's a couple of heads I've got from like various kits. I'm like, oh, that's got a good Pain Boy vibe to it, that head. Like, if I put it on that body, where he's kind of at a funny angle as well, you could get a real sort of Frankenstein kind of look out of it, which I thought that would work quite well for a Pain Boy, actually.
I really should get around to doing kit bashes like that myself and then showing people, you know?
Yeah, I think as well, another use for those torsos would be for biker knobs.
Yeah, I think someone was saying in the chat about biker knobs as well. Yeah, definitely.
Because again, it fits onto the boys' legs, so you get yourself the biker kit and then replace the torsos with them, and there you go.
Okay, cracking. I think Jude was saying something. Hey, Skarnir, you know what else is horrendous? The Death Copter models that aren't from the Black Reach. That Death Copter model is from 97, I think. That Death Copter model is a special character from Gorkon Walker. That's probably... I'd put money on it. That's probably the longest running...
The only nice thing I can say about it is
miniature production. The pilot's cool. It's a good character.
The vehicle itself, though, is just shit.
I like it. It's a bit of character to it, but it doesn't fit into the current 40k orcs. It's old. Like, that thing is older than the hills at this stage. And you've reminded me, I really need to buy one before they stop making them anymore. But yeah, we definitely need a killer can type kit for Death Copters, where you get 3 in a box, they're plastic, and you'll have a few weapon options. Do something like that would be perfect.
It's so insane that they never just took those 3 Death Copters from the Black Reach and just put them.
I don't want to get into it.
Them snap fit things.
Dim's in the chat section. Don't get them bleeding started. Like, you know what I mean. Next thing you'll start talking about Matt Ward and stuff, and we'll be here until Christmas listening to him. So don't get him started. All right. Rivets and Dak is saying Death Copter model the worst ever GW mini. I wouldn't say it's the worst.
Probably the worst one that's still in production.
Still in production.
Probably been. I think the worst.
What's the worst miniature? What do you think as well?
For me personally, because this is going back to when I collected Chaos, and I remember the Chaos Space Marines set was really cool when they updated that, and it came with a mutation sprue in the set.
Yeah.
And it was brilliant because I used to have a load of fun making my own mutants, possessed Chaos Space Marines out of those bits, and making my own Raptors, because the ones that had the backpacks that turned into like wings, and you had 2 sets of impact. I'm like, well, I'm not going to buy Raptors. I'm going to convert my own Raptors. Instead of jetpacks, they're going to have fucking wings. So I did that, and it was amazing. Then a little while afterwards, GW actually sold a set of possessed, and I think they were only out for a little while because they replaced them pretty soon afterwards, because they were fucking abysmal.
But he's metal.
They were so ugly. They might have been. I think there were a lot of monopose ones, but they were like, they looked like they went back in time, but they went back to like a second ed sort of look. But it wasn't good. They were ugly looking. Then afterwards, they brought out a possessed set that was really good.
The plastic ones. I think I know the metal ones you're on about, and they're doing poses like this and all this type of.
They were all like shit. It looks like, and I was like, they look like really old miniatures. Now, a lot of the people have got a lot of love for old miniatures, and I have a lot of love for some of the charm of some of the old classic miniatures. But
we've a lot of arguments in here.
A lot of the old miniatures look really.
Some of them were really naff. We've a vote for Captain Cortez. Captain Cortez, is he the one with the power fist that was like over his head like this, with his bulk on? I remember the pose on that. That was bleeding terrible.
Yeah, those Chaos possessed, man.
They were terrible.
Ugly.
Rivets and Daka was saying Nagash. I think he's talking about the old Nagash. Yeah, the clown Nagash. Essex Boy is saying
I quite like that miniature actually.
You can laugh at him. He was a miniature of his time, like.
Yeah.
The Chaos Mutilators also looked disgusting.
Fabius they were Boyle, bad. They were bad.
Tweaked Marines were bad. Fabius Boyle's Marines. I don't remember. I remember a Fabulous Bill looked like.
Fabulous, good old Fabulous Bill. His miniature still holds up really well, but his boys were
his
bad.
henchmen.
Yeah,
I'm trying to think.
Chaos Obliterators, the old Obliterators. Ugh.
They were.
Oh,
Yeah,
they
the
just look
smaller
like a
ones.
really
Before they
shit conversion. They look like some fucking 10-year-old kid had done them. Just
before they put them on the 40mm basis, you talking about the smaller ones.
The modern ones look really cool, but yeah, them old, then the small look ugly as fuck.
I know,
Horrible.
yeah, I know
horrible.
which ones you're on about. I'm trying to think. There's nothing that really jumps to mind straight away. That's like, I'm just trying to think of ones that I owned that were absolutely terrible. I can't really. I do remember looking through like the catalog years ago and looking at some of the Sisters of Battle or the Inquisition miniatures, and they were absolutely naff. The ones that had like flails for arms and stuff like that, and hoods.
Warp beasts, Dark Elder, warp beasts.
The old ones.
Never liked them.
I like the look.
Any of them. The new ones look shit as well. All the Dark Elder like little beasts, they look fucking crap. They're awful looking. A lot of the old what was it? The Tyranids, all the Tyranids when they went through the phase of all grinning Tyranids were shit. Hated every single one of them.
The Tour Edition ones.
Yeah, when they replaced the one that everyone laughs about now, the Screamer Killer Carnifex, which I still really like as a miniature. They replaced it with the stupid Carnifex that just looked about as threatening as a wet fart. It was actually, they're quite threatening, aren't they, if you get them at the wrong time. But I just had this.
It depends on what pants you're wearing, mate.
They weren't like modern Tyranids, all like roaring, like snarling, like savage looking. They look dangerous. They look savage. They look, they went through a phase where they just had these, just smiling, like a toothy grin. I'm like, that doesn't look remotely threatening. You've made the whole lot of them look shit. Oh, a lot of the old Tyranids, actually. The Tyrant Guard.
Oh, the ones with the shields.
Yeah.
They were terrible.
And they look like they had like fucking like Rey Mysterio fucking masks on them or something. Like, it looked like fucking Mexican wrestlers. It was so shit. Yeah, I hated all those Tyranids. They went through a really shit phase there for a while through 3rd edition, and then when they updated them for the 4th edition, that's when they started getting really good again.
The old Carnifex. Yeah, the old Carnifex was pretty terrible looking.
So ugly. The old Warboss as well. They were pretty shocking looking.
What do I have? I have the red one. I managed to get this on eBay for like £2 or something like that. I have the Red Terror knocking around.
Oh yeah, that's not a bad looking miniature.
We need to put them together. But this guy's from the same era as what you're talking about. The grinning Carnifex and the.
Yeah, but he doesn't have a face though, does it?
No, it's sort of like a maw.
Yeah, that one was quite cool. And I think is that still the same miniature? It's still the Red Terror now, I think.
I think so. I don't think they've given it another sculpt. I don't know. I'm not that way. Louis Madness for a second army. You know what I mean? I've always been tempted by needs. I don't want to be looking at Tyranid miniatures for too long. You know what I mean? I'd be like, Jesus, I could start another Horde army. 5 editors saying they had Orc DNA and became Mortar. The one you're on about, what are they bleeding called? They're not Biovores, are they?
Yeah, Biovores.
The Biovores. Yeah, the Orc.
Horrible.
Yeah, that made no sense either. It's like we eat orcs and we become mortars. I always thought that was funny. The Metal Eldar Avatar. I don't know. I thought the Metal Eldar Avatar, the like Tordad one or whatever, that always looked decent.
Yeah, it was all right at the time. It doesn't look good by today's standards because he's like about the size of a fucking grot now with the scale creep.
Yeah, that's scale creep for you, mate.
Tiny. The old original Space Marine Dreadnought. He doesn't look good.
The weird one, like Rogue Trader era.
Rounded crotch area.
Yeah. It's a weird one though. It's a bit of a weird one. Red Terror looks disgusting. He looks so bad. His sighting talons look like wings. Which one? These? Which talons? There's bits everywhere, man. I'd have to find them. Oh. These talons. I like these ones. Each to their own, I suppose.
That one that was the old Screamer Killer Carnifex that everyone loves to rip on now. I love the face on that thing. I think it looks fucking awesome.
Oh no, mate.
Legs look cool, but I've seen conversions done with that, and people have used that part, but like sort of put the modern legs and stuff on it, and it looks fucking awesome, man. With a modern paint job and that, it looks really fucking good.
No. Not a fan. I have to say, not a fan. I'm trying to think of the orc line. What's the worst looking one that we currently have?
Some of the old chaos stuff didn't like with the some of the old.
I don't like the plastic chaos spawn. I think that's a shite model, the one we have now. I prefer the metal one beforehand. I don't like the current one.
I don't think they've ever got chaos spawn quite right. They've always ended up looking a bit. That old one that you're talking about, I always thought it looked just like someone big lump of green stuff and just fucking mashed it about a bit. And goes, there you go, there's a miniature.
Oh, the one that they sell now, Jude. Yeah.
Kind of the point of it in a way, I suppose. But I don't know. With chaos spawn, I always thought that's a project where you can make your own out of your bits and have some fun.
Go to town.
You just watch the thing and then make a chaos spawn. That's what you do.
That's it. I think if GW are getting someone to sculpt chaos spawn, they get them to sit in a room and watch the thing on repeat for like 10 days or something. Come out and just hand them a sculpting tool and green stuff and go, have at you. And boom. Well, you know, we'll order 10 of them each. It won't take very much. I'm trying to... Ah, there we go. There's the paint colour. Splinter camo base. So we're doing a splinter camo backpack on the boss, even though some people didn't like it. I don't care. Corn berserkers look so stupid. One of them looks like he's tripping. You mean...
They need updating badly because they're still going, aren't they?
Is this the one you're on about? I got this off of someone. I was trying to repair the top of them, but yeah. This guy, I got him to steal his backpack off him. Yeah, these look a bit, yeah, these have seen better days. I'd agree with you there, Jude. I didn't like these at all. These are hand-me-downs that are hand-me-downs. But like someone gave them to someone I know and they gave them to me. I think because I needed backpacks. Like, look at the bleeding state of this.
It's mad that they've never updated them because they're a popular faction, man.
Corn, yeah, you would have thought Corn would have gotten love. Like between Corn and Plague Marines, I would have thought Corn would have gotten more love. It would have made more sense in my eyes. But sure,
they've had a lot of new releases over there. They had the big corn mower, didn't they, and all that sort of stuff. They've had the Bloodthirster all updated and that. But it's strange that they never did the actual
that demon Corn demon chariot thing. That's like a bike.
Yeah,
that looks stupid. Oh my god!
I do like the blood letters though. The blood letters look really.
But the blood letters and the blood letters on the blood crushers look cool. I like them. But that like demon bike chariot thing they have for the blood letters, that's stupid looking. That thing is horrible, man. That really, yeah. Now that you've reminded me of it, yeah. No wonder I must have like had a suppressed memory and tried to forget about it, blank it out of the system. But
I don't think they've ever managed to get the hounds, what are they, the bloodhounds or the corn, fucking whatever they're called, the dog demon things.
Blood letters of corn, is it? No, that's the non-marines.
But
the hounds.
They've never managed to get them right, in my opinion. They've always looked a bit weird. Never quite managed to nail them, I don't think.
Yeah, they're all right. I think there's been better iterations of them. I don't like the current plague demons. I forget what they're being called. Plague bearers. I like the I think it was 4th edition fantasy, the metal ones, the ones that this current kit replaced. I thought they had so much more character and were so much nicer. Flesh hounds. Thanks, Lev.
That's it, flesh hounds. Yeah, I don't think they've ever done them very well.
Deem has quite a few for his Age of Sigmar army. I know he has like blood crushers and flesh hounds and stuff. He seems to like them, but yeah, all depends.
Well, so it's all down to
personal taste,
personal preference, isn't it?
This is it, man. Different
strokes. Dim hates him. Dim hates him. The Gorkanaut. I bloody love the Gorkanaut.
I think I could do with some work. I've 2 of them now. I've 3 of them. I've bought another, or do I have 4 now?
Bloody hell.
I don't know. This is the problem with having a a pile of shame that I need to sit down and write what I have.
Well, you have just bought another one, actually, haven't you?
I've
In
bought
that
somebody
big
else's
bundle
pile of shame, so I'm trying to think what I have. I need to catalogue what I have. I really do. I don't actually know what I've got in my pile of shame at this point. But I can guarantee I've probably got one of everything at least. I need to sort that out, man. That's not good. So how many Gorknuts do you have? I don't know. I think I've like 3. It could be 4. I don't know. James like, the wardrobe with legs. Yeah, pretty much.
I love my wardrobe with legs.
That would be a funny conversion if you get a load of legs and then a big tongue coming out of the stomach, so it's like the luggage. That would be hilarious. If somebody does that. Hilarious. I'm sure you could get away with doing something like that. I'm going to throw a bit more base coat onto this backpack, and then I think we're going to bugger off. What do you think, Steve?
Yeah, I have no idea. Oh, yeah, blimey. We've been on for a couple of hours, haven't we?
We have indeed.
And time flies.
When you're having fun, it does indeed. But this is what my painting's like sometimes. I don't sit down and paint one miniature all the way through. I just sort of bounce from this bit to that bit to this bit.
So progress.
But this is it. It's just a bit disparate. It depends. I think if I sit down and do boys, big units seem to be more organized, I think. Because I'm like, right, I need to deal with this many guys in this color scheme. And I'll sit down and I'll work that out. You know what I mean?
If I paint like one character, that's where I seem to sort of be fastest, make the most, because I enjoy the process more, because nothing seems like a long drawn out chore. It just the whole project seems fun, you know. Painting my weird boy was really good fun. I really enjoyed painting him.
But this
it
is another thing. Like... Go on, you were saying?
Just painting like squads at a time, it just feels a bit more grindy. The same color over and over, and just rinse, repeat. It's a bit fucking soul destroying.
Where people use the characters as reward mechanisms for doing their units, that seems to work. I've done it. I don't really do that myself. I use me grots as a reward mechanism for painting boys, which is weird, but I enjoyed it because they were something different, I think. You know, it's like, oh, well, I painted 30 boys. I'll reward myself with 30 grots. But it worked out. I enjoyed painting the grots. Apart from the fact that the detail is soft in their hands and their feet. You're trying to, like, I'm painting toes on because there's literally no detail for toes. Like, come on.
I turned some of their feet into boots.
Like, you could, man. Just paint them brown. You don't know what it is.
I like file them down. I'm like, oh, I broke his toe there. I'm like, do you know what? Fuck it. I'm going to break all the fucking toes. That foot's a boot now. I'll just paint a boot on it because fuck that.
There's club-footed and then there's the Gretchen kit. You know what I mean? I think Gary's heading off. Sci-Fi is saying Nurgle possessed Gorkanaut looted by definition schools. Re-looted by definition schools. Well, maybe. I hate predictive. Depends. Pale was saying the best flesh hounds I've seen were the Sigmar hounds from Counts or something, basically corpse dogs. I used to like, do you know what ones I used to like? The metal old Chaos hounds. I thought they were pretty good.
I had loads of them, man.
They were cool.
They were so cool. I used to use them as the flesh hounds because I thought they were just so much better.
Yeah.
And they had that whole kind of thing vibe to them with the dogs mutating. Some of them had like 2 heads and shit. And
yeah, there was one with like 2 heads as well. Yeah, I like that.
Really cool.
The Chaos hounds. I like those minis. They were pretty good, man. Drunken Orcs heading off. Good night. We're gonna wrap it up now in a few minutes, folks. Gonna wrap it up. Gonna throw another base coat onto this. Try not to ruin me green. get ready for the splinter camo. I suppose I'll have to practice on another miniature before I do it on the warboss, but that's what I like about the Panzer Aces paints. It's like, just tells you the base, it tells you the other colours, and away you go. Splinter camo backpack. I'll give it a bash. So we will. And we'll call it a night. It's been a great stream. Yeah, we're glad you have enjoyed it. I hope everybody else has gotten a bit of painting done. I know Mrs. Skarnir was watching for a while, cracking on with her painting. Did I tell you she bought herself some Reaper Bones minis and she's enjoying
so
painting?
What are the actual minis that she's painting?
She bought like some. The one she's painting now is a griffin. She bought
cool.
She bought a griffin.
Well, that'd be a fun one to paint.
Oh yeah, it looks mint, man. And then she bought a few dragons. I think she spent like 50 quid and got like 8 or 10 miniatures. But like they're mostly monsters, I think. She got herself a few bits and pieces, but I bought her the one of the army painter paint sets as a sort of an early Christmas present, as you will. And she's been enjoying painting that. But I've ordered some Reaper Bound stuff myself, of the ones that she has, because I know one of them you need to assemble it. So I was thinking to myself, if I buy it myself, then I can do like a video call with her and be like, right, we can put it together. I'll put mine together. She can put one together, and I'll be like, oh, this bit goes here, that bit goes there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then go from there. Yeah. Great crack.
That's cool that she's getting into it.
Oh, she's loving it, man. Taking to it like a duck to water. Right, lads, I think it's we've gone over the 2-hour mark. We were early for once, so you've definitely got your money worth, you know, out of this one. Skarnir is looking savage in his own right, Scare. Oh, cheers. He is. He's looking good. He's getting there. I was thinking about doing camouflage on his legs, but we don't know. We'll see. There's going to be camo of some sort. Bit of weathering, bit of this, bit of that. I mean, no hurry. You know what I mean? I won't be the last to paint them up, sure. That's Dred's job. Yeah, that's right. Gary, don't forget the thumbs up, please, before you leave. And if you're not subscribed, subscribe. In the descriptions below. If you're not subscribed to Stevo, I don't know how does he even come across as like if you're not subscribed to Stevo. Stevo has his own channel. We've also got the War Bosses, the Apocalypse channel, that myself, Stevo, Dred and Dim that we have, and we do a monthly video on that. So yeah, subscribe, like, tune in, try to do more live streams. There's going to be another live hobby hangout stream next Sunday, same time. I've managed to book some time off of work, so I'm spoiling you with all these streams. And for anyone who's interested in Battletech, I'm going to be streaming Battletech games live on Twitch tomorrow at 10 o'clock and 2 o'clock with the Irish Gaming Convention GaelCon. We're playing games via Megamech, so they're online games, but it's the physical game. It's it's like a fan-made program that uses the physical game rules. So if you're interested in Battletech at all, we Twitch stream at 10 o'clock tomorrow and 2 o'clock. And if I was smart enough, I would have had my channel up and a link for the Twitch
in your description.
In my description, yeah. Well, I need to put it into the description. I don't use it that often.
Maybe you could pin it in the comments.
Or I could just, we'll throw it in there. We'll do a copy paste. So if you're interested in Battletech, there you go. That's a link to the Twitch channel, which I'll be streaming on tomorrow. So cheers for hanging out, lads. My ladies, folks, the lot of yous, and everything in between. Hope you've got some decent painting done. How did the progress go for you, Stevo?
Well, I did all the gold bits. I'm now on the black bits.
Nice. I managed to do various bits of blocking in paint and progress. I made some progress. Not a lot, but a little bit. So it's great crack. Thanks for tuning in, folks, and we'll catch us again soon. Good night.
See you later, guys.